Hello and welcome to Astro Office Hours. I seem to have actually gotten all the technology to magically work on the first try. Now, this isn't to say this will necessarily stay working, but so far, we're doing okay. Um, I'm gonna tweet this out, see if I can get a few more people showing up and say hello to all you wonderful souls that are out there and still arriving. Hello to Paranor. Hello to Decaf Smurf. Hello to Kamor. Hello to Lanesy. Hello to Michael T. Mayer. Hello to RP Schwartz. Welcome everybody, one and all. Tonight on Astro Office Hours, I will be continuing to model, to visualize, that's a better word, visualize a planet orbiting a star. Join me as I fight with shadows. So please, if you can share this out with others. We have this weird situation that I don't know how many of you have fully understood about Twitch, and this is our ability to grow as a channel is directly proportional to the size of our audience. So while we're happy to be here, no matter how many or how few of you there are, it kills our averages when we don't have that many people show up. And I really want this channel to at some point make partner so that we can get all the access that other folks who are partners already have. So anything you could do to help, well, shake the bushes and get viewers to come out would be greatly appreciated. Although today may not be the day to do it, because I understand there are a lot of people that are boycotting all Amazon, all Blue Origin, all Twitch, all Audible, basically all products that are ultimately owned by Jeff Bezos. Google. So if today's a low audience day, that might be part of the reason. And in fact, our audience is decreasing in numbers as I talk. That's a bit horrifying. Anyways, so today I am here to talk science. I am here to be confused at why there's no chat alert box on this particular screen. I will add that back in. And in addition, oh, I can bump my audio up. That's maybe. Is this a bit better? Or is it still loud? Is it still soft? I can look for more software settings if I need to. Yeah, I'm working to figure out what the heck happened to the chat. I'm not quite sure myself. Okay, we now have the chat back. We just have the chat back. There we go. Okay, so things shall be fixed one by one. Michael, it's a number of different things. That's why I'm saying it's really probably best to Google, especially while I'm on a channel that includes a lot of staff members who are funded through NASA, and NASA deals a lot with SpaceX. Thank you, Peckflair, for the follow. That's excellent. That's excellent. So I know the rule of thumb, Paranor, and the issue is I also want to drink my soda occasionally. So I hope that I have the mic working a bit better, and I'll also work to project a little bit more. So the reason that I'm using this particular mic this evening instead of the one that I generally use is because I have my handy dandy iPad and my handy dandy Apple Pencil, and I have set up, if I can find my mouse, I don't have my mouse apparently, I have set up a screen setup that will, once I get my iPad to rotate again, allow me to say hi. It will also allow me to work on writing out all the information that had me completely confused last week as I tried to do math in my head, which it turns out I can't do very well. We all have our limits. I can't do math in my head, and I'm going to own that. So to give you a quick update on where we are, we have, and I'm going to switch to that view, we have a planet, and around that planet travels we have a star, and around that star goes a planet. It's actually rounder than that. And as it goes back and forth, around and around, again, it is actually rounder than that. I also apparently can't draw round things. As it goes round and round, what we see changes in terms of its shadowing. So when it's over here, this side is shadowed, and I've decided for the moment that all shadows shall be brown, because why not? And when it's on this side is shadowed. Now, when it is transiting exactly in front, we have our little world is completely shadowed. And then we also see it when it's passing behind the system. And as it passes behind, and here I'm just going to draw it with perspective, we don't generally actually get to see. As it passes behind, it has variations on a crescent stage. Now, last week I pretty much convinced everyone that I couldn't math last week. We'll just leave it at that. Because I was trying to do the math to describe how the shadow evolves entirely in my head. And it turns out that was a wickedly bad idea. So, and let me see if I can center this a little bit better. There we go. So what I'm going to show you now is how far we've gotten so far in our simulation. Oh, it's struggling. There, we're back. Sorry for the dropped frames. My computer didn't apparently want to start the video. Okay, so here is our current video of the world going around. And you can see I've nailed the shadow as it goes around on the front side of the star, and then all hell breaks loose as it goes around the back side of the star. And now we wait for it to come back around. Come on, little world, you can do it. So, failure, less failure. So it's going to slowly, completely fill in. Boom! We matched exactly what it should look like. It's going to crescent. And now we have a quarter illumination. And now we have fail. So, hamsters, Paranor, you have completely lost me. I have no idea what hamsters have to do with anything. Anyways, so to try and figure out exactly how, yes, is hamsters running the system? That's true. Okay, so to try and figure out exactly how to get this shadow to work, I'm going to first kill off this animation. And we're going to look through the code and see if we can find those places in the software that tell us, well, what's good. So coming down here to where we have the shadow, what I've learned, and here I'm going to write things you can't yet read, but I will switch screens in a moment, I promise. So what we know is our planet, and here I'm going to move to a new page. We have, come on, little pencil. We have our planet. And as our planet orbits, what the software is going to do is draw the part that is shadowed based on filling in various arcs. So what it starts out by doing is it draws the right side. So the right side filled has it drawing a line up and down, and at the top of this line it's 3/2 pi. I don't know why I'm trying to add the I for pi. And at the bottom of this line, it is, hold on, I think I read these out of order. I did read these out of order. So I'm just going to capture that and drag it down. Okay, so at the bottom, it's 3/2 pi. At the top, it's just pi over 2. So the arc is going from the top around and filling things in. No, I lied. I totally lied. I'm going to erase this. I apparently can't even shadow planets when I'm reading my code. Okay, let me switch over so you can view, and you guys can shout out the second I do something wrong. So right now, I even wrote the wrong thing, which is probably, let's just erase. Let's go and undo everything. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is fill the left side. So to fill the left side of the planet on my perfect little circle over here, I want to start by looking at what I did. I'm going to draw from I'm going to pull up the processing article on how it does all the oh, you can't read the code either. Can you read my handwriting part at least? Is that big enough? I can at least make my I can work on making everything bigger as is needed. So just let me know if my handwriting isn't big enough. What I'm doing now is I'm pulling up the processing instructions on how to draw an arc, just to make sure. Okay, so within this scene, that's what I'm worried about, and I'll adjust the size of my processing window on the other thing, on the other view, so that you can read that. So where I keep getting screwed up is trying to figure out what the various angles are. So what I'm trying to do initially is just figure out where is 0. It seems like a relatively stupid thing to do, but if you don't know where 0 is, you can't do anything else. So as a note to myself, I'm going to draw a diagram over here, and I'm going to note what the different angles are, and I'm going to note that I drew it where you absolutely can't see all of it, so I can fix that. Okay, that's at least better. So right here is 0. Right here is going to be pi over 2. Right here is going to be pi, and right here is going to be 3/2 pi with the world's worst number 2. And you're still not getting all of that. Okay, let's try moving all of that one more time, this time with feeling. Let's see if that worked. Come on, show me something. There we go. Okay, so you now have everything where you can see it. Hey, Scott. All right, so the next question becomes, if I want to draw an arc that is just, and here I'm going to use Fenmill's favorite color. I want to draw an arc that, whoa, that was bad. Bad choices were made. Let's go to there. I want to draw an arc that traces out this region. So I want it to start at pi over 2 because this requires me to go from the smaller number to the bigger number. So to draw this, I want to have an arc that goes from pi over 2 to 3/2 pi, and I want to fill it. So that part is nice and straightforward. Everyone with me at this point? We're trying to figure out how to draw all the phases. And it is less easy than I wish it was. And I'm hitting my soda on my mic, so sorry. Now, what I want to do is go from this phase to one where we have just a crescent, and this is where things start to get messy. So if I have just a crescent, unfortunately, I can't just use my arc command the same way. I have to actually draw a whole series of lines that fill it in. So our goal is to do this. And what I just drew is made up of a whole bunch of little tiny arcs. And these little tiny arcs, I'll go ahead and just draw one of them highlighted in green. These little tiny arcs don't have the straight line part that we have for when we're drawing a half. That's cool. We know how to deal with that. No big deal. The challenging part becomes figuring out. So Paranor, which software is it that you need? Not all software that I'm using is made equally, but some of it you really get to cheat while you're using it. What do you mean, Michael, by drawing the same way all the time? I need more words. And did I start like 20 minutes early because I completely forgot when I was supposed to stream tonight? This would not surprise me, because I'm having that kind of a day. Use curved lines. So it's actually two different commands. So the arc command that I used here will just automatically fill everything in halfway. Thank you, Paranor. I'm having failure to know when I am. So we have a second command that we're using down here where this could be a single just draw an arc and fill. Let me actually start I'm so sorry, Michael. Let me real fast just start up a new sketch so that I can explain to you what it is that I'm doing. So I'm trying to figure out, can I embiggen things in this window? No. Okay, so you're gonna need to bear with me for a moment while I figure out how to zoom in on this so that you can read what I'm typing. I should be able to do this quickly. It's one of those things that I'm slowly getting better and better at. So I believe that is what I'm calling screen area. It is. So let's just do this. Okay, and hopefully now you'll be able to read what I write. Okay, so I'm going to set this up to have void setup. So the language I'm using processing is a mutant version of oh, this is fine. Thank you, Paranor. So the software that I'm using is a framework that has been written on top of Java to give me a bunch of really nice drawing tools. And this makes it a kind of mutant form of Java. But the nice thing is I can start out by just telling it my canvas size. So in this case, I'm going to do a canvas that is 300 by 300. Oh, except that apparently wasn't the correct thing. Okay, I'm going to look at my other code and I'm going to see what the correct, it's size, not canvas. I'm switching between languages here and my brain always is like, wait, but in this other language you type. Okay, there we go, size. And then to get things to draw, I just set up a draw routine and it goes. Now in this case, I'm going to tell it we're not going to animate, so please don't bother looping. So let's tell this to play. And it drew a box. And a box isn't the most exciting thing, but now we're going to start adding things to this box. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one of these arcs I've been telling you about. And I'm going to do it at 10% the width, at 10% the height as a starting place to draw. And math, it's fun. And, oh, my iPad turned off. Sorry about that. Let's get that back up. Of course, it sets it up in entirely the wrong place. Come on. You can do it all, little computer. Okay. So things should be back. Okay. So I'm now going to do a 100. No, that won't fit in this little tiny box. I'm going to first of all make my little tiny box a twice as large box, because that just seems like a good idea. And then I'm going to do 10% in, which is 60 pixels. Let's actually do 25% of the way in. And I'm going to draw initially a circle, I believe, that is, now this will actually be an arc because I'm going to use my maths. Thank you so much, Paranor. That's awesome. Yay. Even my bad coding got bits today. I needed that reinforcement that I'm doing something good. Okay, so I'm going to do from 0 to pi divided by 2, just as a starting point. And we should get a quarter of a circle. And we did. We got a quarter of a circle. Now, if we want to get half a circle, like the one in the example I have, I don't know where I am. I am currently covering my face, and you guys are being ever so patient. Let me fix that. I'm sorry, everyone. I need to crop right. I kind of was lazy in how I did things, and I did it in a way that wasn't entirely beneficial. Let's try this one more time. There. Okay, that is what you should have had. Okay, so to use what I have in the example over there, I'm now going to try and draw this so that I'm drawing the other half of the circle. Now, if I'm doing the other half of the circle, well, let's start by going from that pi over 2 as my starting point, so the bottom, and let's go up to the top. So I have 3 divided by 2 times pi, and I'm going to press play one more time. That did not go as intended. I'm now a bit confused. Why did that not go as intended? Oh, it's because of the floating point errors that I insist on having every week. This is a typely cast language, and it sees 3/2 as an integer, which didn't give me what I was wishing for. Okay, so now that we're using floats instead of integers, hey Fenmil, I invoked your name. Did that bring you out of the shadows, or did the fact that it's now the time I was supposed to be streaming instead of when I actually started bring you out of the shadows? Okay, so we've now drawn the left-hand side of a circle. Now, the next trick that we want to accomplish is to figure out how to draw a crescent. Crescents become much more difficult because I can't just say draw this part of a circle. But what I can do instead is I can use for loops and do things that are a little bit different. So let me draw a second arc to show you a little bit of what I mean. So this arc is also going to be at 0.25 times the width, but I'm going to move it down in the image. So this one will be at 0.5 times the height. So it'll be directly beneath. Now, this first coordinate is how wide our circle is. Now, if I only want to draw a crescent that covers part of it, let's make this number smaller. Let's keep the same height, and I'm going to do the exact same set of angles. So I can just copy that and paste it. All right, so now I press play again, and I still have this problem that it's filling things in, and this doesn't really look like a crescent because I only have just one line. So I'm going to have to kill the fill, and you weren't able to see that because I forgot to move things on my screen. So let me move things on my screen and see if that works. There you go. So I'm going to start off by making this narrower so you can see more of what I'm doing. I'm going to add the no fill command right here. And I'm going to draw 2 different arcs to show you how I can start to hint at there being a shadow. Again, I'm taking steps backwards after last week trying to do all the math for this in my head and deciding I am not meant to do math in my head. We all have the things we can't do. And I'm going to start pretending I recognize my weaknesses. Oh, I wrote arch instead of arc. So there I have a sliver. It's still not what I want. What I really want is for this to go out all the way to my original edge. And I want to figure out how to fill this particular crescent, which is my goal. I want to figure out how to fill this crescent in. Now, the way I'm going to fill this crescent in is by doing a for loop. This loop will go through and it will fill in my circle from from the outer edge to the inner edge, or from the inner edge to the outer edge, whatever I decide to do for my for loop. Now, let's see if we can go through and I can explain to you, well, let me see if I can explain to myself exactly how to do this. So let's start adding some variables. I'm not looping, so I'm not going to worry about where I set up my variables. The first variable that I want to use is the diameter. So Michael is saying, I think the arcs you want start with the radius of your planet, then increase in radius as they approach the center. Can you crop them to the circumference? Okay, I'm going to draw out what you just said because my brain works visually. Okay, so I am correctly streaming. Let me switch views. So if I understand you correctly, and like I said, I'm going to draw this out to make sure. I have my planet. I have my software. And so what you're saying is you think the arcs I want start with the radius of your planet, then increase in radius as they approach the center. No, so that's not quite how it works. So the way that this particular command works, it builds on the ellipse command. So let me show you the ellipse command. So let me just draw this out. So with the ellipse command, I give it a command along the line of ellipse, then x, y, width, height. And I'm waiting. No, you totally can't see that. This is going to be a theme today. I apologize. There. Catch up. Oh, my computer did not catch up. Why is... Okay, I'm going to rewrite this. So the ellipse command, now it's caught up. The ellipse command wants the x and y position of the circle. This is where the circle goes. It wants the width and it wants the height. So this particular circle, the width equals the height. Now, if I wanted to instead draw a ellipse that was, let's do like that, that ellipse is instead, it might be the exact same xy, but it is height divided by 2 height. Now for the arc command works pretty much the exact same way, except, whoa, that was too big. Let me get a smaller eraser here. Except it's only drawing the outside. So when I use the arc command, it uses my height and it uses my width to set things. So what I need to do if I want to fill this in and go all the way out is I need to draw arcs of increasing width. I hope that helped me explain this. Hey Horizons Sai, and thank you everyone for the raid. And this causes me to look up and realize my lighting is toast as the sun sets. So what I'm working on tonight is trying really hard to get the shading right on an orbiting planet, and thus far my attempts to get the shading right have been foiled by my inability to neatly do math in my brain. So having acknowledged that I have certain failings in life, I'm taking a step back. I've attached my iPad to my computer so that I can write things down, and I'm going through the math of some of the commands behind what we're doing. And yes, we are going to eventually destroy this planet. No, I don't have a tattoo. This is actually a necklace that I'm wearing. That would be extraordinarily painful and time consuming. And while I don't mind the pain, I don't have the time. Okay, so to go back to trying to draw our world, I'm going to switch over to the software that we're using. This is, no, I'm not. This is processing. And what I've done so far is I've used the arch command with fill to draw the top one of these, and I'm actually going to switch the color on that. Thank you. I'm trying to figure. Thank you for the follow, Majestic Eye. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to switch the color on this to 255, which I think is black, but could be white. We're about to find out. And I'm going to get yelled at because I did something wrong. Oh, I wrote the word diameter and then didn't do anything. So let's press play. Nope, 255 is most definitely white. So let's switch the color to 0. No, that didn't work either. Let me figure out. I have the help open in another window. I'm going to look up how to do this. Fill color. So 0 is supposed to indeed be black. I wonder if it is like against the concept of using 3 zeros. No, that's not it. Fill. It's the word fill, not the word color. Ah, silly languages. Okay. No, I just was using the wrong word. Apparently color is a perfectly legit command that just doesn't do what I was trying to do. Okay, so I have successfully used a single line of code and the word fill to draw half a circle. The software doesn't allow me to draw crescents with the same panache. So we're gonna figure out how to fake it. I know you, okay, there's something going on in chat that I'm going to ignore. So the other parameters that I'm setting to 50 and 100, the first is the width and the second is the height of the ellipse. And my screen mirroring turned off again, so I'm working to get it back. I can control so many aspects of technology, but the timeout of this particular open source software is not something I can always account for. Okay, and I have my position off. All things are fixable though. All right, so the next trick is going to be, I need to do a for loop that essentially fills in and draws all the arcs between these two. Yes, Jupiter is visible, and you took fabulous, hilarious even pictures last week. I love that you can go outside while you watch this Keeper of Maps. Okay, so let's do a for loop. I'm going to need, actually, I remember why I wrote the diameter. Thank you, Ghost. I can't read all those letters for the follow. It's deeply appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to define the diameter of my planet. So that's a lot of letters. Let's just call it diameter planet. And I'm going to say the diameter of my planet is, I'm going to make my life easier by just making everything a float, because I will try and treat it as a float at some point and then mourn what happens. So I'm going to define the diameter of my planet as equal to 100.0. Thank you so much, Keeper of Maps. Why are the width and height not in terms of the dimensions of your planet? Because I am currently creating the variables to do that. So here I'm going to change this to 0.5 times the diameter of my planet, and here I'm going to turn it in to the diameter of the planet, and here for my second arc I'm going to do diameter of planet, diameter of planet. And this should give me a crescent, and I'll do the same thing with this one so that we have, no I won't because the variable's below it. Okay. So there, I've now written my variables in terms of the diameter of the planet. So I'm currently going from half the diameter of the planet to 100% the diameter of the planet. So if I want to treat this as percentages of illumination, which is often how we treat things in astronomy, I'm going to say, let's step in 0.5 percent increments as we illuminate. So to do this, I want to, first of all, create an integer that I'm going to call I, so I have something to step through. I'm then going to do a for loop of for I equals 0. Now, this means that the entirety of my world is, if I'm doing increments of 0.5%, the entire world is going to be 200 integer steps wide. So since I'm only dealing with half the world, I'm going to go from I equals 0 to I less than, while I is less than 100, and increase I by 1 each step. And I'm just going to let my sketch go away for now. So with each of these little steps that I'm taking, I'm going to need to draw an arc. I'm just going to grab the command I used before. And I'm going to create another variable that I'm going to call percent illum. And this tells me how much of my world is illuminated. So if I want to illuminate 50% of the diameter. This is actually radius. I lied. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to lie. I did lie. So my entire planet is actually 400 steps wide. Now the reason I'm realizing this is a lie is if I had illuminated 50% of my diameter, that's half. And what I actually did was a crescent phrase, which is in between. So let me first finish creating this for loop so that I can test that I didn't just break anything before I start creating my for loop. Unexpected token for, oh, percent illumination. I want to do this as 0.5 in units of radius. That's not how we normally discuss percentage of illumination. I will fix the math in a moment. This is just letting me know what I currently have. And this is why sometimes you have to step back and do everything one step at a time to figure out. It helps if you change your initial variable to figure out what you have. Percent illum cannot be resolved into a variable because I didn't say it was a float. I'm used to PHP that lets you just like radically create variables hither and yon, and it is so comfortable. Okay, so Pamela wrote, if you give me your today, my tomorrow lottery numbers, I'll split it 51 to 49% after I had to buy the ticket. You guys. Michael, I have to use Java for some of the stuff I do because Python licenses don't match my funding requirements. I'm sorry. We use Python now for more things. We're actually converting most of our site to Python. There's a few exceptions. The stuff Big J is working on is in Java. This stuff that I'm working on now, just because I'm trying to use processing, is in bastard Java. And Michael, you hit on something I hear so often, the phrase PHP programmers aren't programmers. I think that's kind of like the new way that programmers diss on each other. Oh, I've had some spectacular rants about software licenses, Paranor, but I try and keep those off the internet. Okay. Continuing on with our code, which is actually the goal of today. So the line I have above is doing the half radius arc. So let's change this to our increments are actually in 25% increments. The percent illumination I want is actually 25% units of diameter. And so since that's in units of diameter, I have to multiply it by, no, that's in units of radius. That is in units of radius. Okay. And it should be half for units of radius. Man, I'm confusing everything tonight. So it is 0.25 times the diameter, which you have to divide by 2 to get. This is what happens when I don't draw things out. Fenmill, you're a mod. I didn't see what that was. I'm deeply amused now. I'm deeply amused. Yeah, Drop Bear, that's one of those things that like programmers use to like diss one another. Oh, I can fix that because poor Fenmill likes to like play the fates with mods. Okay. So be kind. Be kind. So it goes from 0 to 1 for percent illumination. 0 wasn't, okay, wow. Okay, so percent illumination, it's I don't know why we call it percent, because it really isn't. It's the fraction illuminated. I think it's just because we all are too lazy to multiply by 100. Okay, so in units of diameter, it's 0.25. So I'm going to try and write out everything in a way that is sensible. So I want to start off by, I'm going to have to do the full width. And I'm going to draw this a snert lower down the screen. So what I want is to initially, I'm going to draw the arc that goes all the way to the edge. Now I want to, over time, adjust this increment amount. So let's modify this so we can figure out what we want. Now, if I starts at 0, then I'm going to take 100 steps, and that should get me to my correct amount, but I have to take into consideration that my correct amount that I'm modifying this by is going to be the percent illum in units of radius multiplied by 2 to put it in units of diameter. So what this should do, and here I'm going to switch back so that I can draw this and explain the math and make sure I didn't, as so often happens, screw it up while I try and do the math in my head. So, come on, come back to me. You can do it. Let's switch views. I'm going to get myself a new page, and I'm going to move the page so it's lined up. So what I'm going to do is I have my circle that has a 4-box height, and I can draw this bigger. I have a lot of space. There's no reason for me to draw small. So I'm going to draw from there to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To there. The center is 2, 3, 4. Right there. 1, 2, 3. So my goal is, this is the radius. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the diameter. And from here to here is 0.25 times the diameter. So what I'm going to try and draw is the arc that goes like that, except more archy. I wonder if this device can actually handle drawing arcs. Let's find out. So I'm going to try and draw that arc. No, it can't draw arcs. So I'm going to try and draw that arc. I'm going to try and draw out to that arc. And I need to draw all the arcs in between to fill this in. And I'm going to do it systematically. Now, initially, I want to have my height and my width be, so the height is always going to be 100%, which, as I said before, thanks to the question, is 1. This is 1 times the diameter. And I want to go to 0.25 times the diameter. and then I want the other to be from 1 to 1. So initially, I want this to be, if this equals, and I'm going to be using a shortcut, I'm just going to write off the edge of my screen again. If 1 is equal to my diameter, then what I can say is I want to go from diameter times 0.25 to diameter, which is the same thing as going from diameter times 1 times 0.25 to diameter times 1. That's my goal. I want to do diameter of 1 times 0.25 to diameter times 1. That's it. It sounds kind of stupid, but for loops, they sometimes sound kind of stupid. So the way I'm going to accomplish this in code is host guest screen. This is where in my for loop I'm doing, well, the variable I have, because the variable the software wants is actually the radius. So I'm going to have to multiply this. I'll add the this I can't move that. Okay, so I'm going to go from my percent illumination, which is 0.25, and I have to convert that to units of radius. So I need to multiply it. Sorry, I need to change it to units. This is in units of diameter. I need to turn it into units of radius, so I need to divide by 2. And when you divide 0.25 by 2, you don't get, I have to multiply it. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, I'm going to step back. Thank you so much for the follow. 5-star planet. You guys are awesome. Can I shuffle the graph paper to the left? Yes, totally. That is completely within my ability to do. I apologize that you are all watching me struggle so hard with basic math tonight. I'm going to let you in on a completely open secret. I'm dyslexic, and when I'm flustered or stressed, as I've been lately, or sleep deprived, my dyslexia gets way worse. And this is where I have to slow down. I have to take the time to draw things out. So here I have 0.25 times the diameter. So I want to take my sentence that I had before that was written out mathematically, and I want to change this to be in terms of the radius of the world. So here I'm going to instead do, it's going to go out and it's illuminating it from the center point instead of from the edge. So it's going to be radius times, now for the radius I need 50%. The total illumination is 0.25. So 2 times the diameter in this case gets me how much of the radius is being affected. So I want to do 1 times 2 times the 0.25. So in general, the diameter is twice the radius, and where I'm looking at what percent of the radius it is, and this is where my brain was struggling. So if something is 50% of the diameter, it's going to be 100% of the radius. So this is because the radius times 2 is equal, that is off the other edge of the screen. I tried to get fancy, I failed. So we have 2 radiuses equals the diameter. So this means if I have 0.25 times 2 times radius, it's equal to 0.25 times the diameter. I just multiplied both sides by 0.25. So in order to get the number I need, I have to multiply both sides by the 0.25, and I end up with a 2. Oh, Michael, we all need to come visit you. This is true. Thank you. Thank you for catching that my variable was an integer. I live to make that mistake. Okay. So I have this. This part of the equation is what allows me to go from this term existing to not existing, essentially. And this should be at 100, sorry, mathing. Okay, I know how to do this. So this becomes 1 plus my integrating through times the percent illumination times 2. Now let's see if I got this right. I mostly got it right. Something somewhere went sideways and I ended up with a crazy elliptical that you guys can't see yet. So I seem to have gone the wrong direction. Here is the outside part. And then I went further out because I did 1 plus. That was the problem. I need to... How do I get this to go from 1? So here is 1. So when I equals 100, when I equals 100, this illuminates the 25%. When I equals 0, it goes to the radius. I added a term I didn't need. No, it goes to 0, which is not the radius. Oh, I did the 1 plus in the wrong place. Okay. Except I think this is 1 minus. Yes, I got it. I actually got it. I don't think 501 we can do in the UK. I'll be in Berlin when we do 501. Oh, I wish. I wish. I haven't been to England in a while. All right. So having gotten that, the question is this extensible? If I instead say, let's illuminate 0.4, what's going to happen? it's even it works in general cases. Okay. We have the thing doing the thing. It does the thing. Okay, this makes me happy. This makes me very happy. Okay. So, it does the thing. Now, this is all well and good. The next trick is I have it doing the thing, and I'm happy it does the thing. I don't think it'll do more than 50%. I'm pretty sure that I can only draw half of it at a time. This is why I was drawing 2 different bits before. But let's find out. Let's see if I do 0.7, what happens. Yeah, it just stops at the half, and it's like, I don't know what you're asking me to do. I can't do that. Yeah, it just doesn't have that comprehension. It's okay. It's a limit. The fact that I know I need 1 command to draw the left and 1 command to draw the right, that's cool. I can handle this kind of stuff. So here is a 40% illuminated. Here is a 10% illuminated. It does the thing. The thing is doing. I am quite excited and pleased. Perhaps a little more pleased than is healthy. I'm okay with that. Wait, Fenmill, that's a thing? That's an actual thing, Fenmill? 0% should simply say, I'm going to draw a line on the outside. Yes, it draws a line on the outside. And that's it. Yeah, Fenmill, I think that qualifies as you should probably call somebody. Or, like, if you don't like yourself, go and look yourself. But I think that kind of justifies a call to 311. But I'm kind of paranoid that way. Okay. So, we have this bit of code working. I'm now going to switch over to this view and see if I can stick my code. Nope, that's not readable. Okay, I'm going to go back to what I was using a moment ago. Okay, so here we are. Okay, this is working in this case. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it so it steps through the percent illumination. Now my goal is to have it go from crescent on the right to nothing to crescent on the left. Let me draw what my goal is. So what we're concerned about, turning my screen back on, what we're concerned about is the backside of a planet's orbit. And I'll switch views so that I can draw big. Okay, so we have our star, and our planet is going around the star. Now our general perspective has the planet going back and forth on the surface. I'm going to draw this from above. Now from above, I have planet on the back side, planet on the front side, planet to the right, planet to the left. And when I look at each of these different parts, I see the shadow. So my eyeball is over here, and I'm looking that way, which isn't really a way an eyeball works, but work with me, people. If an eyeball could look at a right angle to the iris. I'm going to redraw that because that is just disturbing the more and more I think about it. This is the point at which you should all just laugh at me. So here's my eyeball that is looking that direction. And as it looks that direction, the planet appears completely shaded at that point. Yes, our intro. I had exactly that going through my head. Hey, Canada Kim, welcome. Oh, I'm so glad it's a purple mattress, Fenmil. Okay, so when the planet is over here, the outside of it is shaded. When the planet is over here, the other side of it is shaded, and that's hard to see the way I just drew it. So let me, okay, so we have completely shaded. We have shaded on the right. We have shaded on the left. We have not shaded at all. And right here, we're going to have a crescent like that. Over here, we're going to have a crescent like that, not drawn to scale. Here, we have the left half is shaded, and you have the gibbous part. So it's not quite a circle, but it's working towards it. Over here, you have the right half shaded, and then add just a little bit as it becomes gibbous. So deformed moons, the way I draw them, they'll look better when the software draws them. Now, our software currently can do this part of the moon's journey. And that looks like some sort of fearsome alien the way I have drawn it. So the next step is trying to get this part of the animation working. As above, so below, yes, that sort of thing. Okay. So Michael, the way that it works, we have the more than 50% working. Let me go ahead and show you that. That part was relatively easy to do. So there it does that side, because with this, I can use the arc command to draw the left side, then use the arc command to partially draw the right side, and then increase how it draws the right side. It's going to the crescent phases that my brain completely broke because I didn't take time to write things down. So no matter how smart you occasionally think you are, sometimes you have to write things down. And no matter how smart you don't think you are, if you take the time to do things slowly, to work things out, you can accomplish almost anything. Yes, I am destroyer of worlds. This is true. This is true. And I said I was going to show you the animation, and I'm the only one who can currently see it. So let me switch views. Let me move my planet to where you can see it. So there it is, totally deformed as it goes around the backside. Let's see what happens when it comes around. Slowly moves the planet. Slowly moves the planet. Whee! Okay, here it's coming back, and boing, I switched to doing the commands for the front. All is well with the world. Complete eclipse. We're good. Illumination comes back. Thank you so much, Canada Kim. That's awesome. And then it's broken on the backside. So we're trying to fix that backside. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is say thank you to Canada Kim and ask to get some rockets up in the chat. Let's light it up out there, folks. You're not lighting it up. Oh, I have stream lag. There we go. Thank you, Fenmil. No, all the atmosphere has been boiled away from this planet. That is true. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the size of this so that it fits on the screen a little bit better. And again, because I like to make sure things are working, I'm just going to press play on that, and everything is working totally fine at this smaller size. Okay, shoving that to the back. Let's come down here. And I apparently don't like myself enough to thoroughly comment my code, so I'm going to say this is the front left motion, then I love what you guys have done to Chatbot. More channels need to give their mods complete control over Chatbot. Okay, so those two chunks of code are fine. All is well with the world with those two particular sets of code. Now, where I broke things was as it steps around the back. So what it's doing is the amount of illumination is varying, and so far I haven't been smart enough to use a command called amount of illumination or anything else. And I'm just relying on the steps to get me through it. And you can see that the way I'm varying the amount of illumination here is covered by this complex thing that has a cosine in it. You can see I have a similar thing. That one doesn't work yet. I have a similar thing with sine up here because I'm moving in the other direction. So let's take a moment to figure out mathematically how our illumination is going to change. And once again, of course, my screen went to sleep. Let's see if it's still connected. It is. So let's look at how our illumination percentage changes in each of these different areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by giving each of my sides a positive or a negative. So I'm going to say that for the right side being done, this is plus 1/2. So this is the right side is filled. This side over here is minus 1/2. Here we have 0 illuminated, and here we have 100% illuminated. Now for shadow, it's going to be exactly the opposite. So here it's 0 on the shadow. I should have used a different color. And let me bump this sideways. Due to weirdnesses in pixel size, these just don't quite fit the way I want. So its shadow is the bottom number, and down here it is 1 for shadow. So my percent illumination, I need to figure out how to translate this into making sense. Dream well, Michael. I thank you so much for making me think hard about my code as I go. I love having your expertise here in the chat. I'm sorry that I initially woke you up when I started far earlier than intended. And as the sun goes down and down, my lighting is going to pot, and I'm just going to deal with it. Okay. So my illumination at the start of all of this is in radius. It is 1 radius is illuminated, and it is the side of the circle that goes from pi over 2 to 3/2 pi. Then I'm going to have the percent illumination for this is 50%. Then I want it to get gibbous, so I'm going to add to this. So that's initial. For this middle part, I have 2 parts that I'm doing. I'm drawing that initial part from pi over 2 to 3/2 pi, and then I'm drawing an additional part that at 100% shadow, this should be shadow. At 100%, I'm drawing 2 different things. I'm drawing this side, and you can't see that. There we go. I'm drawing that side, and then I'm also drawing, for the complete radius, I'm doing it from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And this is the other half. And when added together, it shadows the whole world. Thank you, Fenmil! That's amazing! That's amazing. Your timing is excellent. We were actually talking today about putting together a doodle poll, and Anya did this so that we could all get together and go out to eat together. Like everyone on the team simultaneously, just not a random, let's order pizza for whoever's in the office right now. So that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we understand how to do the front. Now, to do the back half, this is where my brain keeps going to pot. But actually, before I do that, let me code all of this so that I'm doing it in terms of illumination angle. Now, what I'm going to adjust. Thank you, Canada Kim. You guys are all amazing. This makes me happy. I hope you're all getting the football emotes that you wish for. Okay, so for the other side, now I need to do from radius 1 to minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. So this term goes to 0. It goes from 1 to 0. So it starts out with this fully there. It then adds it in. And then this term here goes from zero to 1. Is that correct? Scroll in. Okay, so I have initially, I'm drawing just this part. I then start adding a little bit more. So and then I hit full. Okay, yes, I explained that completely right. I just needed to pause and draw stupidly for a moment. So I'm telling you guys, astronomy you do have to be smart. I'm not going to lie. But if you work hard enough and struggle sometimes and are willing to keep struggling, this can be done by people who are far from being geniuses. And there's now cheese in the chat. I have a cheesy chat. I always knew you guys were cheesy. Okay, so I want to put this in terms of the illumination angle when I do this. Now, I have for the first 50 steps, I have the left side is there entirely, and then as it steps across, sorry, the left side is there entirely, and then I should comment these out. I'm going to at least comment the left side, and I'm going to draw this in the order that they get drawn on the screen. So there's my left side. Now I'm using sign to change the amount of illumination. So I'm actually going to pull that out, and I'm going to create a variable right above this called illum. I'm just going to call it illum. Okay, and I'm going to create this as a float. Now, over all of these steps, the amount that is illuminated is going to vary for these first two things. In this case, I need the amount that I'm illuminating over these steps, which is how many steps the thing has moved. I need the amount that it's doing to vary, going from 0. So I'm going to comment this in, change right hand illum from 0 to 1 as goes to center. So that means that I want illum at any given moment to equal this right here. You guys can't see me typing. You guys totally can't see me typing. You guys should yell at me when you can't see me typing. Because the shadow's going from the left side illuminated, right side bright, to completely shadowed, to left side illuminated, right side shadowed. So it's how I'm differentiating between the left and right hand side being illuminated. Sorry. Okay, you guys should now be able to see where I'm typing. Okay, so I'm taking this part right here and I'm cutting it out. And I'm saying that the illumination, which has to go from 0 to 1, so my step starts out as 0, and that won't get it to 1. No. Somewhere I have a factor of 2. Oh, because it's sine. Okay, let me desimplify this to make the math more obvious. So this should be half pi times step divided by 50. So this should go from 0 to 1. Initially it's 0 when step is 0. It's 1 when it's pi over 2. So I'm going to stick that variable in right here. And hopefully I've now just simplified my equations a little bit. Yes, I'm totally... Michael, we don't believe you. We totally don't believe you, Michael. But you'll be proud of me, Michael. I'm adding variables to increase the clarity of my code. At least I hope you'd be proud of me. Yeah, this is the planet Kent 9b. The colors in this are actually authentic based on the temperatures of the worlds. The star and the world. Okay, so we have now added the illumination angle here. Let's do the exact same thing. Thank you, Michael. I'm adding the exact same, first of all, type of comment. So I want to change left hand illumination from 1 to 0 as goes to right. So I'm going to look again and see which of these is my left and which of these is my right. And I can tell by matching the angles. So here I have pi over 2 to 3 halves pi. So this is the left-hand side. Yes, keeper of maps. I am orbiting a very, very dead play school guy. Very dead play school guy. All right. So now I'm going to vary my left-hand side. And since I want it to go from 1 to 0, this time I'm going to use the cosine command. Okay. So I'm going to take this giant piece of scribbly mess. I'm going to move it up here. And I'm here going to take my step number, which is going towards 100 now. And I'm going to subtract 50 from it. And I'm going to, actually, I'm just going to do 2 pi, I think. So 50 minus step. So no, I wanted 50 minus, I wanted 50 minus step because my steps go from 50 to 100. So I just need to decrease this, taking into account my starting step. And I'm going to do the half pi again to make my math like actually readable. I've had many people tell me that my voice puts them to sleep. I have so many mixed emotions about that. Okay, let's add in the illumination angle. I wish my voice could put me to sleep, although that would probably be bad for nights like tonight. Okay, what did I do wrong? Syntax error, maybe missing a semicolon. Nope, got a semicolon. Oh, missing it on the line above. Okay. Oh, from Python to this, it kills me with the semicolons. From PHP to this, it kills me with the tight casting. I just can't win. I also have these problems switching between Russian and English where my brain just like starts throwing out words from the wrong language. Canada Chem, more letters, please? Sorry, Michael. Okay, so we've got that working. Now let's see what I can do to fix the rest. Okay, so we've done the right left, we've done the front left, we've done the front right. So now I'm going to do the back right. Now for the back right, this is where I have to start doing the stepping through. Now, I already know this command is total garbage. I'm going to ignore the garbage. I'm going to delete the garbage. I'm going to delete more of the garbage, and then I'm going to figure out what the garbage was meant to be, because clearly, I was doing that quite wrong. And I'm just going to delete this for loop and fix it once I get the back right working. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to comment on what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is change the right hand illumination from 1 to 0 as goes left. Which sounds easy when I say it, except this is where I have to do all the arcs instead. But by doing this in terms of the illumination angle, I think we can do this a little bit easier. So I want the illumination, because I'm going from 1 to 0, I'm going to use my cosine term again. So cosine, I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to remember the letter M, however. CosmoQuest, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but currently the letter M dominates all of our citizen science projects because we have Moon, Mercury, Mars. And every time I look at this, I just have this like Sesame Street. This citizen science site is brought to you by the letter M. And I see Cookie Monster doing this every single time. So please go do Mars and Mercury so that they can be done already. We have very narrow, specific science goals. And then we can add new worlds and have fewer letter M's. Okay, so there's my illumination angle. Now, I'm going to look at the code I used just a minute ago to do this. When I did this, I had, nope, that's not the one I want. That's the one I want. When I did this, the way I did it was I had a number of steps that I did, and I went from wherever I wanted to start out to where I wanted to end. And so I'm going to follow this exact same concept. I'll have to change %illum to just illum because I decided to simplify my variable name. So for the back right, let's copy that in. Actually, I'm going to copy it in below and just look at it to see where the difference is. So what I want to do is for my planet diameter, I want to do 1 minus float I divided by 100.0 to give me the correct number of steps times illum. And here, I think I already have my illum in the correct terms. I could be completely wrong, but we're gonna try this. Okay, so let's see if I actually just pulled that off or not. Okay, so I have way too many brackets. Let's fix that. So I have my for loop, I have my illumination angle. I've changed this variable name to illum and gotten rid of the 2 because I think I have that right, but I'm apparently missing something somewhere. Missing right parenthesis. Yeah, I'd buy that. That looks like it could very easily be missing a right parenthesis. Float. Oh, no, I see where I'm missing the parenthesis. Float did not need a parenthesis. Yeah, that should now work. No. Planet dia. float does not exist. So it thinks I'm missing a oh, I need to multiply. You guys are discussing shampoo. How many decibels for 2? Pantone colors, I agree with. I like Pantone 2. No, it doesn't. Did I forget to cast things again? Oh, wow, it just ate the planet. Come back out the other side. Hold on. Let's Illume is, I believe I cast it as a float. Yeah, I did. And everything in there. For my angles, that's fine. Okay, let's try this again. Hey, Miklos, welcome. You are awesome. I forgot my pie. Okay, hold on. I just want to see what it does. You're starting to see my forlorn astronomer face. I'm going to erase the star. I think that will make this easier to see. It would be nice if we could erase stars so easily in real life. We can't. This means they get in the way of us seeing interesting things in the sky, but we do what we can with what we've got, and occasionally send spacecraft out. Okay, so let's try this. Decibels for pi. You want me to yell pi? Yell for pi? Pi, pi, we all shout for pi. That's a kid's thing. Okay. Fair enough, Candida Kim. Oh man, it did it in the wrong direction. Totally did it in the wrong direction. Okay. Let's try doing this. How did I have it going in the wrong direction? I know what I did. It should now be 100 minus step. Oh, I do. Dang it. I'm at least completely consistent in how I fail so remarkably over and over again. Decimals! I have no idea what this particular language does. It's a built-in number. How do you deal with decibels of light? Okay, it's drawing half the back. Wow, that got tiny. I need to look at how I'm calculating the size because it went to 0 in the back. Okay, staring at this again, I'm going from this should start at 100, so I'm going from half pi cosine of, no, it's going from 0, so it starts at 0. Cosine of 0 is 1, so it's half illuminated. It should be half illuminated when it gets to the right-hand side. Chug, 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 chug. And then as it goes from 0 to half pi, it should go to 0. So now it should be half and shrinking in amount. I don't see it shrinking in amount. I'm going to make it not scale on the back side. Where am I setting my planet diameter? Okay. So we're not going to scale the planet diameter because I want to be able to see what the heck it's doing. Light is EM radiation, but I'm not used to thinking about it in decibels. Hello, Dust Chainist. I am desperately trying to get an animation of a planet orbiting a star that I have currently commented out to correctly shadow itself. And this is harder than I ever imagined it could be. I'm actually a PhD astrophysicist and embarrassingly bad at doing this one particular thing. It's doing the thing. It did the thing. Okay, so it's actually like correctly shading itself. Okay, so now to replicate that on the other side. Yeah, okay, Astro, I can see that. It's the power in the waves that you're talking about. Yeah, it's totally true, Fenmil. Like, I've even taught that in class. Okay. So, okay, we did the back right. We got the back right. We're going to get this stupid planet fully shadowed in the next 5 minutes for reasons. So to those of you who've stumbled in and are wondering what on earth this crazy person you are watching is doing, I'm Dr. Pamela Gay. This is CosmoQuest. We are a project to put science into your brain, because that's where science belongs after all. And what I'm doing right now is replicating the star system Kelt 9b. It is the hottest star system known, and I am in the process of working on its poor innermost planet. Suffers from being heated up so much by its star that it is on the outside as hot as a star itself. Yes, Fenmil, you are catching on. I go through all this struggle and then I slowly destroy it. And this planet is indeed being slowly destroyed by its star. And where I'm currently struggling is I desperately want this to work. And I was trying to do the math in my head, and it turns out I can't do that. But we all have limitations that we must recognize. And this evening, I did what I should have done weeks ago. I pulled out a device I could write upon, and I wrote down what I am doing. And theoretically, this code will now correctly scale the shadow. So if we had the star, the planet would now be fully eclipsing the star. It's now traveling to the right of the star, and its green Pinocchio nose is a stick that I use to maintain perspective. So imagine that this planet had a giant space elevator coming out of its surface. The green dot, ooh, I think I got it. I think I got it. No! I did something wrong. Wow, I gave it hair instead of a shadow. I gave it hair instead of a shadow. Okay, it's Smargden. Yes, that is true. Okay. Let me figure out what I did. Let's try not doing the 1 minus. I'm going to figure this out. Why do you want to make jokes about Kim Kardashian? Thank you so much for the follow. That is excellent. Can we get some stompy feet in the chats for the follow? Oh, totally did not work. Fail, 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 fail. Okay, so it needed to be 1 minus. What did I do so wrong? So very, very wrong. Okay, I'm going to do it once again and watch it grow hair. I'm sorry I said stumpy feet. I meant rockets. Can we light up the chat? Can we light up the chat with rockets? Okay, so this part works. It's waxing, 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 waxing. I don't think it's centered full. And yeah, it's increasing the rate. No, okay, so I'm going from, I should be getting, as it circles, it should go from 0 to the illumination percentage. That's the problem, I think. Maybe? Okay, so it's stepping through all the arcs. I'm gonna have to add comments to make sure I get everything right. Step through planet diameter inward to planet diameter times illumination angle. Yes, okay, so I'm just going to delete this mess of maths. Okay, so I want this to be times 1 minus illumination angle times I divided by 100, and I need to make I a float. Okay, this should do it. I know I've said that like 1,000 times. What did I do wrong? I forgot a parenthesis. Yeah, I needed to change the sign. That's exactly. I totally agree. Due to stream lag, I got there before you. Okay, let's see if it goes all the way around. That's working. Nailed it. Please, please, please work. No, it's just going to grow hair. I have a feeling that I have like an absolute value issue going on here. I don't know why that would happen. Oh, thank you guys. Where is the errant 50? So this is this is where I am. So I have 1. That could be the problem. Let's make that 1 afloat. Good night, Canada Kim. So keeper maps, I think I took care of that by dealing with this in quartiles. Thank you so much, Canada Kim. I hope everyone is getting all the football emoticons their hearts desire. You are still growing hair, you stupid thing. Okay. I'm just going to do planet times Illum and see if that line moves. Oh, shoot. Hold on. If 1 less than I less than 100. Right, so I is an integer, but I've been converting it into a float everywhere. I'm missing, so that 1 didn't appear to matter. Let me see what it's doing currently. That is the wrong animation. Step less than 100. Okay, hold on. I just want to see what it's going to do this time. And I have 1 more minute to figure this out. Oh man. Clock is ticking, clock is ticking. That's working, that's working. I have 3/4 of my planet working. 3/4. I'm pretty sure its orbit is off center. Okay, now it's just not going to do fuck all. And I should not have said that. But code is motivated by swearing. Yes, I'm going to hit save. File. Save. Okay. And I will save again before I close this. So I have, I'm going to take the equation I had above. I'm going to copy it into here. I'm going to reverse my angle. I'm going to 1 minus isn't doing it, so I'm going to do this minus 1. So the stuff at the top of the screen is already working, Michael, so I'm afraid to touch it. But I'll look at it as soon as I see what happens with the change I just made. Like internally, I'm rooting for my math to work. Flip. And no, that wasn't it. Dang it. Okay. Killing this, putting the 1 back where it was. 1 minus. Looking for the errant 50. So, step less than 100. Yeah, I will floatify all of those because I agree. That one, I have no clue why it worked. Everything else works but the back left corner. Okay, so I'm going to have to solve this next week. Tune back in next week. I just got a 2000 network error. I don't know if I'm broadcasting. In case I still am, this is CosmoQuest. I'm Dr. Pamela Gay. I come to you from the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. Wherever you are in the world, have a fabulous morning, evening, or afternoon.